It's gonna rain this weekend. Is it gonna rain this weekend? I saw 80% chance of rain this weekend.
Well, I just heard we might get a little break from the heat, but I ain't heard anything about rain.
I hope we get it Friday or Saturday, 80%.
Is that right? Well,
It seems later and then move more into Friday.
I'm all in favor of it.
Yeah. Last I heard it was like 40% chance.
All I know is tomorrow, when I'm standing out there on the square announcing the watermelon eating contest parade, it's probably.
It's gonna be a little warm. TV. I work in the city. You watching the budget? You watch the budget?
Not much.
Hey, there's some news that pops up there. I never know.
I'll just wait for my final decision. Look, it was tough enough trying to make that meeting the other day interesting about subdivision regulations.
There was nothing in it.
I was gonna say,
I was sitting here.
after I wrote my story, I was thinking to myself, there's no way, man, it's this interesting.
No, I don't think Steve King did that.
How are you?
Judge King, the host, or you gonna do a chairman?
I don't think on the budget, yes, on the commissioner court, no.
Yeah.
Sure.
I got, Friday. 80% and then Saturday 87%. And that's through Sunday 68%.
Wow. That'd be great.
Gonna be Saturday and Sunday, 88 and 89.
I'm all for that.
A little better. It's,
We got any rain coming?
yeah, it's saying Friday 80% and Saturday 87. On this app.
But not tomorrow.
No, it's gonna be a lot more.
It's gonna be 100.
You might wanna have a fan. Well, not will be. Probably will be where you're standing.
Probably will be. Where I'm standing, yeah.
98. It's probably blocked from any breeze. They got you.
Well, we'll get, should get done with the parade before noon, so there's no afternoon activity, so it should be okay.
Okay. You're out there about 2 o'clock.
Like last year. Yeah, last year was pretty rough.
There's nothing in the commissioners court meeting really that will be used that I'm aware of.
Push that AD back for now. They don't need it for the budget meeting. Well, I kind of moved the chairs. I mean, that's fine. You need more space, but you do have the shelf here. Scoot over. But you don't have to worry about falling. You fall off. I can't do that.
Morning, sir.
Hey, Tim, how you doing?
Doing fine, how are you, Keith?
Pretty good, thank you.
How are you, sir?
I'm good. Better than Irma, ain't I? Kenny?
I kind of throw them.
Do what?
That throw a little bit. Morning, sir.
How are you?
Are you gonna take minutes? The clerk will not be here, so if you could take minutes. Hmm? All right, we ready? All right, I'll call this meeting to order 9:01, and I will have asked Commissioner Barton to lead us in prayer and our pledges.
Dear God, thank you for this day and thank you for the previous rains and thank you for everything that you do for us. And just watch over the people that are trying to govern this county and help us make the best decisions, even though sometimes they're uneasy. And just be with the community, keep them safe, and we pray all this in your name, amen.
Amen. American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. All right. Meetings come to order and we do have a quorum and the commissioners are here. And are there any general announcements? I have one. Received a notice from Tex Dot that next Monday, I-20 will be shut down at the Farm to Market 859 bridge. And all traffic will be diverted to the side roads, and this will happen between 9 p.m. and 5 p.m. It may be extended into the
5 a.m.
AM, you're right. And it may be extended into the night of July 9th also. So for those of you that it affect, let me know. Any other announcements? All right, are there any public comments? No public comments. So when we move to item number 4, consent agenda. Agenda items are considered routine by Commissioner Court will be enacted in one motion. There'll be no separate discussion of these items unless the county judge commissioner requests items to be removed from consent agenda and considered separately. Are there any items that need to be discussed or removed? If not, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
A motion.
Is there a second?
Second, Pearson.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Item number 5, discuss, consider approval of selling equipment from Road and Bridge Precinct 1 using the Renee Bates auctioneers.
Yes, gentlemen, I put this on the agenda. I've got some excess equipment I'd like to auction off. You should have a list of the equipment in your binder. I'll make a motion to the effect,
Okay, okay, the motion. I have a few questions. One is, was any of this equipment offered to the other commissioners or discussed with them? See if they want it before we send it out to auction?
I put it in the book. If any of them want it, we can always pull it off the list and don't have it.
Okay, and the two, you got two Peterbilts that you're selling. The first one, we purchased last December. And the one before that we purchased 2 years ago. Why all of a sudden are we needing to sell them? Are they excess?
I bought them. I had Class A drivers and I had leased them belly dump trailers. We were on it, period. Well, we downgraded the amount of Class A drivers. We downgraded the amount of belly dumps, and the elect coming in campaign that was wasting money that he wasn't going to use it. So I'm just cleaning it up and setting it up.
Okay. Did you discuss this with the elect?
Based on all his campaign material and everything he has discussed, he made it very clear that I was wasteful in spending on that equipment. It should go road bridge. So I'm selling it, so I'm spending on road bridge materials this summer.
So you haven't spoken to him?
No,
Okay. All right. Do you think that the Peterbilts that we're selling, one we bought for 34,000 and the other we bought for 44,000, if we put them out in auction, will we get anywhere close to the value that we spent a year ago or 2 years ago?
we should get excess of that. So I'm going to take good deals on the vehicles. So we should make more than that.
You
Okay.
can put a floor on it.
A reserve?
Reserve.
Okay. And how is it that we have 4 of these Rex HDS Pulvi mixers?
Most of those were mixers I had got from other counties that was no longer utilizing due to the fact of their age. You cannot get parts or maintenance for them. And most of those vehicles, most of those are broke down, not working. I can't get parts to repair them.
Okay.
There was one of the, isn't that one of those mixers like that I was gonna transfer to you? We're gonna transfer that back to, I transferred it to him for parts. And Chad came to me and said it wouldn't be right for me to take that from you and then sell it in precinct 3 and not get the money. So we're gonna transfer that back to precinct 3 at a later date. And
Okay. So
so it's not on there.
it's not on, so there's more than 4.
And I have another question when you're through.
Okay, that last question is, the cat dozer, is that something we purchased?
No, that was military surplus.
Okay, do we have the right to auction it off?
The auditor's office has been researching that, Miss Sandy.
We are checking with the sheriff department. We have not, normally when the surplus equipment is transferred to the county, we tag it. As an inventory item. We have not tagged that bulldozer. So my base at the SIO is trying to research and see if we have actually been donated that. So that may not go, that may not sell. We go ahead and get permission to, but It's not the county.
Okay. And the last question I have is, we sell these tractor trucks. What do you have to pull the belly dumps with?
Like I said, we downgraded the amount of belly dumps.
Okay, well, it was just two commissioner court meetings ago, we approved
I still
a
have-
lease.
I still have a truck full of belly. And one of them I'll be releasing back, so I'll leave one belly.
Okay,
That was my question. Okay,
Okay.
I was making sure that something was being left, some kind of haul truck and belly dump, at least one.
There'll be one left. I came in, I was one, there'll be one left, one will leave, it's in good working condition.
Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure that,
okay,
that we were leaving at least one haul truck and rent, belly dump rental, for the new person if he wants to keep it. He's indicated that he's gonna have his material hauled, but he may have changed his mind.
How many belly dumps did you lease? Two?
At least two, I'm gonna turn one back in and get reimbursed on it, and just have one go with me.
okay,
At
Commissioner,
one time you had three, did you, Chad?
I had three at one time.
Yes.
Now, the reason why I done the lease, I was gonna have two trucks, but you wanted that one back and needed it, so I went ahead and done that last week back to you, so it's turned out great.
At one time he had four haul trucks, but one of them came back he was gonna sell it, and I said, no, I'll buy that back.
Mhm,
So,
okay. So, Commissioner Pratt has made a motion, to put the items, on bid with Renee Bates, possibly excluding the cat dozer. Is there a second?
I'll say,
I think it should be amended that on the Peterbilts, there be a floor for what we paid for them. Cause I know when new guys come in, they say this, they say that or whatever, and they may change their mind. Like, man, I wish I had those two trucks. I wish I wouldn't have done that. You may come in there and say, you're gonna do this, this and this, and realize, well, this don't work. I wish I had this. And I think those trucks might be pretty important there. That's,
Yeah, I believe that'd be a good fiduciary responsibility on our part to make sure we get the most we can, by putting the floor on
I don't
there.
have a problem putting the floor what we paid for it.
Okay,
I said, it'll bring it.
is there a motion to amend it to add the floor of what we paid for?
I'll agree to amend that.
Okay, there's a second?
second.
All right, all those in favor of the amendment, say aye. Okay, all opposed, like sign, motion passes. All right, now we're ready to vote on the original motion. Is there, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, like sign, motion passes. All right. Item number 6, 7, 8, and 9 are all one discussion essentially. And let me start out by saying, just give the background. We had severe storms on April 26th, but it just amounted to flooding in this county, and we had severe problems with the roads in that regard. But then on May 16th and on May 28th, we had more severe storms that brought down lots of trees. And during this time, the road and bridge crew, the first responders, and others all pretty much just cut up the trees and pushed them off to the side of the road in the right of way in order to allow traffic to go through. And that occurred during those after those storms for several weeks. And that's called green debris is what it is. And that remains on the side of the roads because the county does not have the resources to go out and pick it up and dispose of it. And there are a lot of options. One of the options that we considered and hadn't moved forward, and that's item number 6, is discuss and consider debris collection sites for the county for individuals to bring green debris for disposal. Okay, that process is not reimbursable by any to open a site, collection site for citizens to bring green debris removal is not reimbursable in any form or fashion. That would be 100% out of the county's pocket. And it would require us to have people there monitoring it on a regular basis. We'd have to secure the sites to make sure that they're locked and closed and people don't bring non-green tree debris and dump it there. And that pretty much is out of the question because it's not, we have no budget for it and we can't afford to do that without assistance. Which leads us to the next, we declared a disaster for the 16th and the 28th events. And that has gone through the process. The governor declared a disaster for Van Zandt County because of it. And just 2 days ago, the federal government has also added Van Zandt County into the disaster declaration. And by the federal government putting us, approving us for the disaster, that means we are eligible for FEMA funds for the recovery process. Okay, but when you use federal funds, you have to abide by their guidelines and their regulations and their process. And what you will find is, and what I've done is I've been following Kaufman County because Kaufman County has gone through the same process. And on June 6th, they put out bids, 3 different bids, RFPs, I call it, and for people to come in and do debris removal. And what that is the first kind of RFP would be the green debris removal from the county roads. And that RFP would be for a company to come in and collect the trees that are on county roads, take them to a common collection site, which they would set up, this contracting company would set up, and there would be multiple ones of them throughout the county. And then it would either be ground up into wood chips or burned. And those are 2 options that they have. And the RFP from Kaufman County goes through all of the requirements, and it is a substantial amount of requirements that has to be done. When for the collection, every truck that goes out, and before they can actually take the debris in the truck, they have to have a work order, and the work order has to be approved by the county or by the service provider. And then that work order, when they take the debris to the collection site, the debris management site, then it has to be signed off by the monitor there, the person that's monitoring it. And the paperwork goes to multiple places. It's a 5-part form. And again, there's all sorts of requirements for the site. It has to have portable toilets. It has to have a tower for observation. It has to be secured at night. It has to have people there monitoring what's going on. And then once everything is done at the end of the contract, the land has to be returned to its original condition. So it's an extensive amount of work, and that's what the RFP does to get the service provider. That's the first RFP. The second RFP is for monitoring services. And this is a company who is separate from your service provider, who is going to be monitoring the service provider on the loads that they bring in to make sure that they are matched. That the amount of debris that they're claiming is true and correct. They take digital pictures of every load and maintain them. And so that's what the monitoring contract would be for, a separate company whose sole purpose is to monitor all the debris collection and make sure it's accurate for that. And then the third, which actually should be the first, is the consulting services for project management, documentation, and collection. This is basically the grant management company who will help set up who would help set up this whole process. They would help set up based on FEMA guidelines, which are massive. And so they would help us actually write the RFP to fit our needs and what would be required, and then and make sure that it matches, we comply with all the FEMA requirements in that process. So that would be what they would be doing. They wouldn't actually be involved in the cleanup. They would just be administering the whole thing and helping us set it up. That's what it is. So those are the thing, and there is potential, again, by how the contracts or how the RFPs are done, is to actually let the debris management sites, let citizens bring debris in there. That is a possibility. Again, you got a whole accounting issue to deal with on that. After reading all the requirements in here, you know, it's astonishing the amount of money that's going to be spent on top of just debris removal, just for the administration of all this and keeping track of it. And I just, but again, FEMA is going to reimburse when it's well documented, and they have a schedule, how much they'll reimburse per cubic yard of debris, how much they will reimburse for equipment that's used, whether it's the trucks that haul it, the dump trucks, whether it's the loaders that load it, and the chainsaws that are used. But every single hour, every single minute has to be documented and submitted for approval. And my understanding, based on reading all this, the county would be responsible for paying up front, and then we in turn request reimbursement from FEMA on that, which means highly likely that we will not recover all the costs that are involved, because if there's discrepancies or they want to deny something, they can, and we will be left footing the bill. So the question that I have in my mind is all that worth? Oh, the other thing too is we would be responsible. We would have to hire to work for the county, or appoint somebody to be the county debris manager, and there would most likely be more than one, because if we have multiple collection sites that have to be monitored at the same time, then we would need multiple employees there to monitor the sites and what's coming in. So there would be an expense for us to do that. But again, we don't have the resources to clean it up now. Do we want to move forward with this process? And again, my recommendation is we can do the consulting services to determine how we do it on RFP to get somebody to come out and do this. And then again, I have no idea what the cost is going to be, what it would end up costing us if we did it. I mean, we can do the RFP and to let people submit bids to us. We don't have to accept any bids. It's not that we're not really committing ourselves to anything other than to doing an RFP and moving forward. So at this point in time, that is what my best research has done. Is what are y'all's questions and what is y'all's input?
Ms. Vicky,
Yes,
have we been confirmed that thing is going to include us? And
yes, we got.
yes,
We are included in the declaration, federal declaration.
are we at a point where if we proceed forward with this, it won't affect our ability to file for reimbursement?
Say that.
Are we at a point now where if we proceed forward with these RFPs, it won't affect our ability to apply to FEMA for funding?
That is correct.
I don't see where we have anything to lose for going out for RFP.
Okay. just to go out to get the bidding for the monitoring service and, or the consulting service to help us put together RFPs for the, debris removal and the debris monitoring. So that's what you're saying, we move forward with that? That would be item number 9.
It doesn't even matter. Because say we didn't even use FEMA and we're gonna have to contract it out anyway, we don't have the manpower to do it. We still have to go through these processes, but we getting the TCEQ certified and I guess the
Well-
only thing that wouldn't be done is monitor,
Right,
but it's gonna be, that's the only thing that's what would change.
right, but I agree, you know, it's gonna have to be contracted out, but you would contract for the person that's doing the removal. They would be responsible for setting up the sites and meeting the requirements of the TCEQ and whatnot. That's kind of where you're at, but who's gonna pay for that? You know, we have to for that contracting itself.
Oh, Vicky,
Yes.
no, help me out here. No matter how much the county spends, as in hiring a consulting firm, or the amount you spend on the debris sites, or the amount you spend, the federal government's only gonna pay us back so much per cubic yard.
Say 5%.
Yes, it is a 75-25 reimbursement grant. So the county would still be responsible for 25%. Unless we have income match. And we have had a little bit of that with the Minuteman response and stuff. All their volunteer hours can be used as income match. So there may be some of that comes back to us, but it takes a lot.
But
Yes.
my question is like the consulting firms and all that. That's gonna have to be, in other words, they're only paying X per cubic yard. If we spend more than that, which it's, they're not gonna reimburse us. They're only gonna pay us so much, no matter how much we pay out of pocket.
So we have a pretty good idea from the debris that we put into the piece out, of how much debris is on the sides of the roads. So we can kind of gauge by that about how much we could.
Well, where I'm leading to is if we manage it ourselves, then we just cut out that much money of hiring somebody else to manage it. And they're not gonna pay us more for hiring somebody else to manage it. They're gonna pay us so much per cubic yard.
There's a consultant or a mover or.
No matter how much you spend, they're only gonna pay us X amount per cubic yard.
Are they gonna require we have an outside party to monitor this?
What?
An outside party to monitor this? Is that a requirement of the thing?
The contract, you're moving and somebody.
So the contractor can't have a monitor.
Because when they.
It can't be the same people.
Yeah, it can't be the same thing.
The reason for that is because in the past, some people have put weights on their shrubs or. You know, violation has caused more. Regulation.
And does FEMA provide the mechanism to get reimbursed for all the administrative part of the people that we hire or the people that are doing the administrative work for the county?
I'm sure. 5%, that they did say that 5% administrative costs.
Or that would be added to the cubic yard.
Again,
I know that-
not to the cubic yards.
Hire a consultant to make sure that all paperwork is documented.
Right.
That paperwork is not documented, or not.
Right, and that's why digital pictures, and the load ticket, every truck haul has to have a load ticket that identifies who they're hauling for, what they're hauling, where it came from, where it went to, in that regard. So the amount of paperwork will be massive. And it would be, the question is, if we did it ourselves, then we would have to have people within the county that can handle all that administrative work. If we did it ourselves rather than get somebody to do it.
But I thought they just said we don't have the option to do that ourselves. We have to have an outside party monitor.
Well, to monitor, yes, I'm talking about the actual removal of it.
You remove it, you gotta have a remover and a monitor to monitor everybody. And the third thing he's talking about is somebody to come in and do all paperwork. Keep up a lot of paperwork.
So the question is, put it in ourselves, what's it gonna cost? And if we went with this, is it cheaper? With everything we have to do here, is it cheaper to do it ourselves, or would it still save us money doing all this? Which one would cost the county less?
In my mind, it would be much cheaper to just do it ourselves. But it would require us to go into our contingency fund to do it. Because we don't have money budgeted in the budget for this.
Are you saying cheaper by money or cheaper by money or
Money,
or
my money,
cheaper by the hours and time that it's gonna take?
both.
Both.
Because any service provider that you go with is having to account for all of the administrative costs that they are required to comply with and the sites and all. And
Do we have time to research it?
we do, my proposal, my suggestion is that we go ahead and do number 9 and work on a request for proposal for the consulting services to assist us with because we can put that RFP out and see what we get. As far, and we'll have to pay for whatever the consulting, if we go with any one of them to move forward, we'd have to pay for it, but that doesn't really bind us other than the posting of the RFP and see what we get. And that'll get us started. Otherwise, and any process that we do, we're looking at 6 to 8 months to a year. The contracts, the RFPs that other people put out is for a year. So, and it may take that long. And you've got all the surrounding counties that are going to be doing the same thing. So you're going to be competing, or there should be companies willing to bid because there's so many counties that are in need of doing this. But the question is, do we want to do it as a county or ourselves and or go with the FEMA to get reimbursed? Because it's going to require an employee of the county to head this up, not assigned, that's already not a working employee, but somebody that has their whole job responsibility is going to be just to manage this. So,
Well, I agree with you. I think we need to go with number 9 and get started.
all right. So your motion is to issue a request for proposal for public assistance consulting services to include project management, document collection, and submissions to Texas Department of Emergency Management and FEMA. Is that your motion?
That's correct.
There's a second. All right, motion made, second. Is there any further discussion? Number 9. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose like sign. Is there any need to vote on the other 3 at this point in time? Does anybody see? Should we just because we really don't need to do that until we get the consulting service in place.
I motion to table 6, 7, and 8.
All right, motion to table, is there a second? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, the motion passes. Item number 10, discuss and consider milestone payment number 533 3917A to Sabre Industries.
Yes, Jim, I put it on the agenda and I have our consultant for the radio project, Mr. Barry Black, on Zoom to go over it.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes, very clear, very clear. So I wanted to go over this invoice. This is the second invoice for Sabre's portion of this, the radio project. And this invoice is for the notice to proceed on the construction of the towers, the manufacturing of the towers, and the manufacturing of the shelters. Those occurred kind of in at different time points. And the shelters were actually, we went through a detailed process of drawings and approving these drawings for the shelters many months ago. And those shelters are completed and they're sitting on the Sabre lot over in Louisiana, where they manufacture those. One of the shelters has actually already been set at the tower site in Precinct 4. That was set a couple weeks ago. And we actually walked that yesterday. But so those shelters were approved for construction some time back. And the towers were approved for construction once the geo testing was done. And that's been those approvals to move forward with the tower construction, manufacturing of the steel and all. That occurred for Precinct 1, Precinct 3, and the sheriff's office probably around 3 weeks ago, because I believe we discussed beefing up some of the towers to the bigger design, and that was decided not to be the direction y'all wanted to go. So that was kind of that notice to proceed. And then there's one more notice to proceed on the tower for the Precinct 2 site, because that one's a little bit behind the others. And so they have deducted, I worked with them to hold some money back on this notice to proceed for the towers and the shelters milestone payment, because that one has not been completed in Precinct 2. So we withheld $30,000 for that. And so this milestone payment is for the notice to proceed for getting those shelters and towers constructed and manufactured and ready to be installed at the sites. This invoice probably should have been broken up differently, but this is the way it was in the contract, so they had to hold on this till the towers were approved, and that's why it's just showing up now.
Okay.
And I have double checked the math. That is correct. And like I said, there's a revision there at the bottom of withholding the $30,000. That will be invoiced down the road once, that tower is, we've given them a notice to proceed on that tower for Precinct 2.
Okay. So what is are they just waiting for this payment to start work on the towers?
No, they are not. They are actually starting work. Like I said, I think when we did the contract and we set up the milestone payments, I think if we did it again now, because of the timing on the shelters and the towers, they would have probably rather broken this up, because the approval to move forward with the shelters was given many months ago. And the towers are just happened about 3 weeks ago or so. And it hasn't happened yet for the Precinct 2. So they couldn't submit this milestone payment until we got to this certain point. And they wanted to go ahead and invoice the full amount, but I told them, no, we can't do that because we still have this outstanding tower notice to proceed in Precinct 2. So that's why we deducted $30,000 and held that for a future invoice. And the balance is what stands here of a little bit over $414,000. But they are constructing, Judge, they've actually started foundations for the shelters. I believe they might be pouring the foundation there at the sheriff's office today, but tower foundations will start going in about a week. the drilling for those, and they've already cleared the land on precinct 1, 3 and the sheriff's office. So things are moving forward. And we're just trying to get the regulatory studies for precinct 2 wrapped up so that they can start construction there.
All right.
So this invoice is not holding them up. They are moving forward and trying to get to completion for other, milestone payments, of course. So.
Okay. Is there any more questions, Mr. Berry? Mr. Black? If not, is there a motion to approve payment of the milestone payment?
So maybe.
Is there a second?
Second, Pearson.
All right, motion made and seconded. Further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed, like sign. Motion passes. All right, thank you, Barry.
Thank you. Y'all have a good
Are we
one.
done with Barry? Is there anything else? Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
All right, item number 11, discuss and consider approval of air travel to L3 Harris User Group Users Conference and Training Symposiums.
Yes, gentlemen, I have this on here. This is the annual conference and training for the radio project. Me and Mr. Beaver, Lieutenant Jones will be going to, and the Fire County policy to fly, you have to get approval through the court. This conference is in Ocean City, Maryland, so driving would be much more costly than flying. So I'm coming to the court to get permission to book flights for this trip. Because I'm not able to actually book the flight prior to coming to court, I can't give you an exact price on it. And every time we look, the prices change, but it looks like it's going to run roughly around $2,500 for the three of us to make the round trip. Or $2,500 would be a good cap. We should come in under it. At this time, I'll make a motion to approve.
Well, first of all, what and this, you want to specify this comes out of the ARPA interest? Do we need to specify
This
that?
actually will come out of the communications budget that we built in this last budget year.
Okay.
Training funds after that.
All right.
Unless y'all want to take it out.
No, I didn't know we had a budget. So, but, and I would like to, for you to add a fourth person to go. That would be myself.
Okay.
So would you like to amend the motion? Or wait, we haven't approved it yet.
No.
Would you
I'll
like?
make a motion to the effect that we approve 4 flights. So,
Okay. So the motion, is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. All right, we will now move into closed executive session and end the regular session at 9:41 a.m. And the closed executive session is in compliance with section 551.0725 of the Texas Government Code to conduct a closed meeting to deliberate business and financial issues related to a contract being negotiated. All right. Thank you much, everybody.